The news came like a thunderclap. Canada has slammed its border shut. U.S. access to Alaska by land is severed. This unprecedented act occurred today, June 3, 2025. The world watched in disbelief. A friendly neighbor, a trusted ally. Now, a sudden, shocking barrier. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office released a terse statement. It cited urgent national security concerns. No further details were immediately provided. American officials were caught completely off guard. Diplomatic channels lit up instantly. But answers were slow to come. The immediate impact was chaos. Truckers carrying vital supplies to Alaska found their routes blocked. Families on summer road trips were turned away. Panic buying began in some Alaskan towns. The supply chain, already fragile, faced a new threat. Alaska, the last frontier, purchased from Russia in 1867. It stands apart from the lower 48 states, geographically isolated, yet deeply American. For over a century, Canada has been the land bridge, a vital corridor for people and commerce. This passage was always taken for granted, a symbol of enduring friendship. Numerous treaties have governed this unique relationship. The Alaska Highway, built during World War II, a testament to joint U.S.-Canadian efforts. It became a lifeline, a symbol of cooperation, agreements on trade, transit, and security. These have been pillars of North American stability. The border was more than a line on a map. It was a meeting place of two nations. There have been minor disagreements, of course. Trade tariffs, fishing rights, environmental policies. These were typically resolved through quiet diplomacy. Never before has access itself been weaponized. The idea of Canada blocking Alaska was unthinkable. This action marks a terrifying departure. News of Canada's decision reached Mar-a-Lago quickly. Former President Donald Trump was reportedly furious. He did not wait for diplomatic niceties. Instead, he turned to his familiar platform. A fiery video message was broadcast. Released on Truth Social, it spread like wildfire. His words were blunt, his tone aggressive. "This is an outrage," Trump declared, his voice booming. Canada, under weak leadership, has betrayed America. He called the border closure an act of war. He demanded immediate capitulation from Ottawa. They will open that border or they will pay. He hinted at severe, unspecified consequences. His supporters cheered his strong stance. Many others recoiled at the inflammatory rhetoric. His approach has always been confrontational, yet the speed and severity of his statement were jarring, especially from a former head of state. He offered no room for negotiation, just pure, unadulterated anger. This Mar-a-Lago proclamation, as some dubbed it. Section 4. Echoes in the Capitol. Washington reels from the news. The current White House was in crisis mode. President Biden convened an emergency meeting. The National Security Council was activated. The official response was more measured than Trump's. A spokesperson expressed deep concern and surprise. They emphasized the need for dialogue and the importance of the U.S.-Canada relationship. Behind the scenes, however, frustration was mounting. Congress was a cacophony of voices. Republicans, many echoing Trump, called for strong action. Some demanded retaliatory measures against Canada. Democrats urged caution and diplomatic solutions. Senator Chuck Schumer called for cool heads to prevail. But the pressure for a swift resolution was immense. Alaskan lawmakers were particularly vocal. Their constituents were feeling the impact directly. The State Department worked through the night. Secretary of State Antony Blinken attempted to reach his Canadian counterpart. Lines of communication were reportedly strained. Section 5. Expert Analysis. Unpacking the Diplomatic Crisis. Dr. Evelyn Hayes, a political scientist at Georgetown University, was stunned. "This is truly without precedent in modern U.S.-Canada relations," she stated. To close a key land access route to an entire U.S. state, it's a geopolitical earthquake. She emphasized the peaceful nature of the border. This action challenges all our assumptions about how these two nations interact. The why is the billion-dollar question right now. Professor Mark Chen, an expert in international relations from Stanford, weighed in. He focused on former President Trump's intervention. Trump's rhetoric is a wild card, as always, Chen noted. It could galvanize domestic support for a tough stance, but it might also make the Canadians dig in their heels. Diplomacy often requires quiet, careful maneuvering. Public ultimatums rarely de-escalate a crisis. It certainly adds another layer of complexity. What could be Canada's motive? Experts offered theories. Some pointed to ongoing but low-key trade disputes, perhaps over resources or environmental regulations. Could this be an extreme negotiating tactic? Others speculated about sovereignty concerns, perhaps related to Arctic passages or defense. A few even whispered about foreign influence attempting to drive a wedge between the allies. The potential short-term consequences are dire. Economically, Alaska will suffer immediately, Dr. Hayes warned. Section 6. The People Speak, Public Reaction and Growing Concern. Alaskans felt the news like a physical blow. The Alaska Highway is more than just a road. It is their connection to the rest of the nation. Fear mingled with anger and deep frustration. "How will we get our supplies?" asked a Fairbanks store owner. "My family lives down south. How can I visit?" cried a mother. The sense of isolation, always present, intensified. Calls for immediate government action flooded phone lines. Across the lower 48 states, surprise was the dominant emotion. Canada? Our friendly northern neighbor? Many struggled to comprehend the news. Concern for fellow Americans in Alaska grew. Images of stranded trucks and worried families filled screens. The hashtag #StandWithAlaska began trending, along with #What is Canada doing? The story dominated conversations nationwide. Social media became a battleground of opinions. Supporters of former President Trump praised his strong words. Section 7. A New North American Reality. The Future of U.S.-Canada Ties. The cherished image of the world's longest undefended border has been fractured, perhaps irreparably. This single act by Canada has changed everything. The trust built over generations is now in question. Even if the border reopens tomorrow, a scar will remain on the relationship. The sense of shared destiny feels shaken. North America has entered uncharted waters. Can this deep wound be healed? It will require immense diplomatic effort from both Ottawa and Washington. First, Canada must explain its actions clearly. Then, a path to de-escalation must be found. Concessions may be needed on both sides. Rebuilding trust will be a long, arduous process. It demands statesmanship, not brinkmanship. The long-term implications are profound for trade, for security cooperation, for cultural exchange. Will businesses rethink their cross-border investments? Will security protocols need a complete overhaul? The very idea of a seamless North American continent is now under a dark cloud.